time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside the smartest man in hockey, Jason York, as it is Thursday. It's must-win day, Yorkie. That's what we're calling it.
Must-win Thursday? Are we there?
Thursday.
Well, it starts becoming must-win when I saw a little Coming In Hot standings board this morning when we're now going by GR, games remaining in the column. That's where we're at right now. What is it? The teams are in the low 30s now for games remaining.
Mid to low 30s. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So that's it. Yeah. It would be great to win. It's not must win though. It'd be great to win.
If Ottawa wants to be in a playoff spot tomorrow morning, it's must win.
Well, if we're going to say that about every single game coming down the stretch here, because it's so tight right now.
I know.
It's like a guitar string.
It's like, but it's interesting to like. I started looking up schedules or what teams have done that are playing tonight. Like everybody's getting the Rangers have points in 9 straight. Philly has won 3 straight, have points in their last 6. Detroit, mind you, they've lost 3 straight. Montreal is 13-3-1 in the last 17 games. Points in 9 straight. Everybody just collects points. Columbus has won 3 of. They've won 3 of 4 at Carolina. They had a big win last night in Toronto. Lots of everybody's winning.
Yeah. How tough is Olivier on Columbus, by the way?
Oh my Lord. What a fight.
He might be the toughest guy in the league right now.
I know there's been a couple of fights earlier this year. That's an old school fight to me where they just chuck knuckles at each other right in the jaw.
He's not that tall. Like he's 6'1". He's like 230 pounds. So he's like a fire hydrant. Like you see when he gets in there, there's certain guys when they fight Reeves is looking at him. He's like, this guy is not afraid. He's coming. And I don't know, for people that didn't see the fight, like he got Reeves good and knocked him down. Good on Reeves. He got right back up. But that's one of the best fights I've seen this year. 2 old school guys going toe to toe. And then after they get a little tap off to the box, they went.
So I was just having this discussion with Jake, our producer. There's no point to Ryan Reeves being in the National Hockey League.
Really?
You can't tell me he's swinging momentum. First of all, they lost 5-1. Second, so there's our sister network, the Daily Face-Off, has a show called Morning Cup of Hockey. Colby Cohen is the host. They have Pat Maroon on. Pat Maroon was just on talking about fighting Ryan Reeves. Yeah. And if you remember in Montreal, Ryan Reeves wanted to fight Arbor Jacques. It was 3-0, and Jacques pointing at the scoreboard saying, I'm not fighting you. And I know Jacques Martin, when you played, had the same rule of if you're up 2-0, you don't fight. So Pat Maroon basically says if you're going to fight Reeves, it's within the first minute or 2 of the game. Get it done, get it out of the way. Well, it was 90 seconds into last night's fight that they fought. I didn't think you sit back and go, okay, now the momentum swung somewhere. There's no point to Ryan Reeves.
Yeah. This is what I'll say about momentum and fighting. Okay, yeah, you see both benches are hitting the glass and they're banging when the guy gets in a fight. But I'll just tell you from experience, you're not as a player sitting on the bench. Okay, now I've got way more energy. I'm all of a sudden going to play better now. It doesn't. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, you're happy for the guy. You're happy he didn't lose. You're happy he got in a fight. But it doesn't say, oh, damn it, I wasn't ready to play, but now I'm ready to play. Now I've got momentum on my side because I just watched a fight from the bench. It's just I think it's nonsense, to tell you the truth, but I still like watching a good fight. And when I was on the bench, same thing. It is emotional, especially for the 2 guys, because it's very emotional for those 2 guys.
But there was nothing in it that made you go, they need to fight now to settle a hit, or like there was not. You didn't need momentum.
Olivier is a pretty good player. Like he's got 12, 13 goals. He's tough. He gets on the forecheck. Yeah, I'll put it this way. If Reeves, I always say this, people say Reeves is a terrible hockey player and all this. Reeves would be the best player on anybody's beer league team if he went out and played.
without question. Not,
Yeah,
it's not
people
even
don't understand. People don't understand that. People don't understand. Like this, like anybody in the NHL is a very good player. A very good player. He's older. He's not the same player. He used to be really effective on the forecheck, but hey, I don't know. Toronto's doing pretty good in the standings. Your Leafs are doing pretty well. He's on the team.
Ryan Reeves hasn't put the Toronto Maple Leafs where they are in the standings. He doesn't play every game.
I know, but he's probably retire after this year. I hate shitting on a guy that's people say he can't play. Well, he is in the NHL. He was a good player. Yeah, he's on the back nine. He's still pretty tough. Like I wouldn't want to fight.
The only thing I don't like, Yorkie, there are lots of guys we question whether they can play. We say, oh, that guy can't play. That part, there's always skill to all these guys, as you say. The only thing with 100%. Ryan Reeves for me is he just skates around looking to try and fight. And if he doesn't get one, he has no effect on the game. Did you see him by the way, that guy just smoked him in Montreal. It was a great, clean hit.
I saw that. Yeah, open ice, great hit. Jack, I can play a little bit. I know people don't want to hear it. I remember, I'll tell you a story about him. I watched him at his very first OHL camp because my son Jack was in Kitchener. And they brought this big, huge guy in. I think they even brought him in a tryout. He wasn't even drafted in the OHL. And I watched him. I'm like, my God, this guy's got no chance of making the team. And Jay McKee was the coach at the time. He took him, worked with him. So you got to give him credit. He's worked on his game. He actually makes a pretty decent first pass. He's got a good shot. He's never going to be a top. I never say never. You never know in this game. But he's another guy, Wally. He's not as bad as people think. He really isn't.
And if you had the choice between Matt Rimpey or Xhekaj to put in your roster,
I'm taking Xhekaj all day.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah, but hey, the goal Rimpey scored against the Sens, who saw that coming? A little forehand, backhand, top shelf.
Like that's our point. Everybody can play.
Yeah, but these guys are working. They're working and trying to perfect their craft each and every day of practice. And give that kid full marks. He's come a long way. Like you got to give it to the kid. You know what? Being that big and playing hockey, I don't care what anybody says. Guys that big have a tough time. Like it is so tough to get coordinated and get good. Look how long it took Chera. He's another guy. Like people laugh.
He came to Ottawa.
I remember when I was in Ottawa, and Big Z was in his early career playing in New York. Guys would laugh. Just put it in his corner. He can't skate. And Z would go corner to corner and try and run guys, and he'd fight. But you know what? Look what happened. He outworked everybody and ended up winning a cup, being a captain. So I love stories like that where guys like that just persevere.
He was just a throw-in that deal.
He was, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he came to Ottawa and just continued to work and perfect what he does. And that's right. Yeah, he was an afterthought. People were like, yeah, this guy's pretty big.
Him and Bill McCall, like they just wanted the pick. And I know like they just took him because of his size and they think maybe they could work with him, but they had no idea this guy was going to win a Norris trophy. Like,
yeah,
he had a great work ethic, but he was never the player.
The central piece of the deal.
That was Bill McCall.
So that deal was made. The GM at the time was that Marshall Johnson?
Yeah.
Marshall pulled that one off.
Yeah, he was so angry with Yash. I'm pretty sure
I was on the team at the time. He sat out a whole season with the contract.
So Marshall Johnston didn't want to be the GM. First of all, he wanted to be a scout.
Great scout.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, that's when Dudley left. Maybe not. Maybe that's before Dudley. Is it
Dudley left? And no, it was Gauthier, Dudley, Marshall.
Yeah. And so Marshall, they had no GM, and so Marshall took it over, but he reluctantly took it over. And then the first thing that happens is his captain holds out and wants more money.
Yeah.
And Marshall, as old school guy, he was like, I'm not putting up with this.
That really galvanized our group in Ottawa, though. Like our group really came together after that. It's like, okay, Yash is not playing. Our team became tighter. And we had a very good season the year Yashin sat out. You know, Alfie was basically the leader before then, but he just really, that was just a stepping stone for Daniel to take over the team and probably launched him. Well, it did. It launched him into being the captain and being the guy.
Two things. One is nobody, even when we were covering it, no one thought of Yash as the leader of that group. Everybody just knew he was the wore the letter, but no one's like, oh, okay.
I sat beside Yash for 5 years, and I'll just tell you, I like Yash, but there wasn't any inspirational speeches. there was, he is what he is. He was a very talented, extremely talented guy that was a really good hockey player. The thing with Yash was when the games got really tough, he couldn't take his game to the next level. And that's the difference with certain guys. And, probably when you look at trades with the Ottawa Senators, probably put that as maybe the best, not maybe. I think that probably
it's got to be the best trade.
That's the best trade that's hands down Ottawa's ever done, because you got Spezza in return and you got Chara.
Right. And it really helped define your early 2000s hockey team.
100%. Yeah, 100%. That'd be a good little coming in hot, informal question of the day. If you want to, what's your favorite trade all time with the
Well, it has to be Mark Stone anyway.
Wally, come on. You can't do that. You're going to do it.
Irritates me.
I'll tell you something funny. I was golfing with Stoner last year. He goes, we should just trade for Brandstrom to rub this trade in a little more when things weren't going well for Brandstrom.
God. And by the way, Eric Brandstrom didn't deserve any of it. They just traded for a guy and tried to hype him up to say he was going to replace basically Erik Karlsson on the blue line, which was impossible to do.
It's amazing, eh? Like,
okay, I got one question though about
what's that?
Is the year he came back, and then there was the time I think in practice that Neeler go at him a bit.
Shane Knighty in training camp.
That's what it was, and then
and nobody stuck up for him.
No, and so that's what I'm like. What was
we'd had training camp up in it was up in Pembroke, the old Pembroke Memorial Gardens. We went up there and had a massive scrimmage, and Nides was trying to make the team. Everybody loved Nides, great guy, tough guy. I think he ran him, and then basically waited, and he basically abused him, and nothing happened.
Yeah,
that was good for Nides though, because that helped Nides actually make the team.
Yes, and it ended up being very good. But
great career.
But what that year in the room, what was the reception like? By the way, did Yash apologize to the team in a group meeting?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. But everybody just carried on. Like it was what it was. Like we just knew that it was. But to be honest, the guy that was pulling the strings, at least from what I understood from the whole thing, was his agent. Like it was his agent that was really pushing to do this. And a lot of times as a player, you listen to advice from your agent. So I think he just got some it was bad advice. But hey, in the long term, he ended up getting a lot of money with New York. Like, what was it, $90 million contract with the Islanders?
I think he's being paid for the next 300 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
He came back that year, though, scored 40 goals. And I know by the end of it, like, fans were cheering because he was helping the team win games. But they were...
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Right? Like, he was a very good
uber talented Wally. Like, I'll tell you, for people that never got a chance to see Yashin play, he big right shot. Yash 6'3", probably playing around 220, or the big turtleneck. He'd come off the boards. When he came off the boards and he rolled on his forehand, he had an amazing release, really quick wrist shot, and he could score from in tight, but he could also score from outside the top of the circle too. He was so dangerous coming off that wall. Great, like what can I say? Super talented. Like one of the most talented guys to play for Ottawa. I have no problem saying that. Like, and
he's a Hart Trophy finalist.
Yeah, and I've seen guys from the 90s up to now where he's right in the conversation as far as talent goes. Like pure talent. Like he didn't. Like we go into the way. I can't even imagine if he would have worked out hard. Like if he would have worked out the same way Alfie did, oh my God, like it would have been something. Like but that's just the way some guys are.
All right, let's get on to today's game. Lots of news surrounding tonight's match between the Boston Bruins and Ottawa Senators. This show is always proudly presented to you by Charm Diamond Centers. More than 85 locations across country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and an unbeatable pricing policy. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds and mine diamonds. Apply for the Charm and Diamond Flexity card today and get approved for no interest financing on your purchase in minutes. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. I'm not singing today. And always, by the way, every day on Sens game days, there are that's okay. There are Gabriel Pizza Perks apps deals for you. And every game day for the Ottawa Senators, there is a large pizza that you can get a deal on. So just go to Gabriel Pizza. By the way, if you're not following along on Gabriel Pizza's X account or Instagram account, I suggest you do. They throw up all kinds of contests for free tickets and pizza prizes. Oh, and right now you can look Super Bowl party packs, if you will, that you can order. That's coming up soon. All right, so just download the Gabriel Pizza Perks app and or go to GabrielPizza.com to order. Don't forget in the Sens score 4. God, I hope it's tonight. You get 40% off your swell 9-inch pizza tomorrow morning using the Gabriel Pizza app. All right, now let's get to the game in Boston.
Okay,
Ottawa coming off a little bit of a loss against the Rangers. Boston didn't look very good last night against the New Jersey Devils in a 5-1 loss. They scored the first goal, and then that was it. Jeremy Swayman pulled last night. Jonas Korpisalo played the third period. So if you are if you're Joe Sacco, who's your starting goalie?
I'm probably going to Korpisalo and hoping I can catch lightning in a bottle, because the trust factor is going to be tough right now with Swayman. You look where you are. You've ran with him for most of the season. You're now on the outside looking in as far as your playoff hopes look. Last time you dressed Swayman against the Ottawa Senators, they put 5 behind him, plus the shootout winner, and he got out-dueled by a rookie in Merrill. So, man, I think they probably roll the dice. And when they probably looked at their schedule too, this was probably a game they said with the back-to-backs that Korpisalo was going to play. When exactly did Swayman get pulled in the game, though?
He didn't start the third period from, I believe that's.
So we played 2. Yeah. You can look at the other way too, and you could say, well, if we have any hope of getting back in this race, it's going to be on the back of Jeremy Swayman. So we got to start him tonight, and hopefully he does what he does and does what he was signed to do, was be one of our best players. But it's just the heat's on in Boston right now. They had the coaching change. Joe Sacco's now the coach. What are you gonna say?
That's why I think. So they pulled Swayman after the second period, which usually means we're just going to save you the third period kind of thing, and maybe rest you up for the next day. Clearly, they were going to start Korpisalo today if all had gone to plan yesterday. But I think by pulling him with a period to go, they might be considering starting him today.
For sure. I'll just tell you, they're going back and forth in the code. They were probably going back and forth on the in the room after who's going tomorrow. What are we going to do? Do we trust Swayman? Man, last game, there's just so many things. Like Boston's hanging on by a thread here. They're trying to find something. I'm just looking as far as Korpisalo. He should be fresh after just going in for a period. A lot of times too, like this is the former team that gave up on him, right? So they're going to hope that is going to be something that can get him going. And it's going to be interesting because so many. We know one thing though. Olmark's not playing. He's not playing
unless there's a miracle from good Lord above. Yeah, it's your good goaltender. Why do you call him Merrill? There is no V in his name.
I know. I butcher it every time. when you
people now called a drinking game.
It's had too many old fashions. I don't know, Wally. It's one of those names that kind of slips off the tongue.
I'm gonna have
Marylainen. You gotta really pronounce that N.
Yeah, he may not come on now if we can't pronounce his name right. I'm gonna get a Merrill t-shirt.
Come on. Hey, by the way, who's the last player we had on was Josh Norris. Josh is getting a lot of positive reviews for his recommendation of the Billy Bob Thornton Landman. People are raving. Yeah, people are liking. They want to see a regular Norris at the movies segment where Josh picks his show for the month. He's 1 for 1. Landman's a winner.
I haven't. Yeah, I actually am now considering getting the subscription to watch it.
Wally, I told you it's free. You only have to sign up for. You can hammer off the rest of Yellowstone. You can watch the rest of that.
I gave up on Yellowstone. I didn't watch the last season.
Yeah, big twist in this one. I started watching last night because you got to watch once you sign up for Paramount for a month. You got to get your shows in before they cancel it on you.
I'm going on a trip. A 16-hour flight, and yeah,
where are you going?
Somewhere. So I
what do you mean somewhere? 16 hours? Where?
Yeah, 16 and a half hours, I think it is.
Are you going to Hawaii? You're going to Singapore. What's going on in Singapore?
The wife has a conference, so I'm tagging along, and then we're going to go to Thailand after.
Wow, Wally, tagging along. Is that on the company dime too?
Well, the company's me, so no. No, I'm asking for donations at this point.
Singapore. Wow.
Yeah.
That's 16 hours.
16 and a half hours from Vancouver.
Wow. Yeah. That does flights like that. As soon as I see a flight that long, I'm like, ooh, that's a massive commitment. How long are you going for?
By the way, I didn't know when I agreed to it that flight was that
16 Are you going first class?
Gosh, Yorkie, geez, no. Yeah, I believe 60, I have to stand for the whole flight.
16 hours. You got to go on the pods. You got to take the.
I don't have financial wherewithal to go in the pod.
You're stuffed in the back. You're in the back row of the plane where the seat doesn't recline.
So, and if I did have the pod, I would give it to Lisa. I did that. We went to Paris. The Team Canada's World Hockey Championship team was training camp in Paris, and so Lisa wanted to come over and spend a couple days there. So I gave up. At the time, we would fly business class, and I gave her my first class business class seat, and I sat in the back.
Yeah. You're probably your status is probably gone now on Air Canada.
Lost a little bit of stat. My kid flies more than I do now. Yeah.
That's a sad day when you lose your status, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a sad day.
Well, so funny. We're way off topic. I went, so just during COVID, which is also the same time I lost my job, I was like 1 year in that final year of getting lifetime platinum status, I think, with Marriott hotels.
You didn't get it?
So I needed like 3 nights. I think it was.
You had to go stay at a hotel for just.
So I just booked them in Ottawa. Yeah, so I could get the nights. Yeah. So I managed to save lifetime status. Yeah. Anyway,
that's so fun. People in the industry, eh? I used to call it's segment chasing. End of the year, they want to get there. Anybody that listens to the show here too, that's in business, understands that you want to get that status. It's like a dash to get those extra hotel nights at the end of the year.
In December, I would meet guys in the airport, people we work with, like in trucks or in broadcasting or whatever, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm just going to like Chicago today, to Dallas, back to Carolina, and home. I just need like 4 segments." I'm like,
what? Instead of taking a direct flight that's going to last you 2 hours, you're going to travel for 16 hours today to make sure you renew your status on Air Canada.
Yeah, it's well worth it. Anyway,
I remember those days.
Let's move on. Okay, back. I don't. If Omar is starting, anyway, we'll get back.
He's not starting. He's not starting.
So it's got to be Marilainen, I think, right? Both Boston and Ottawa pulled their goalies in the last game, and now we don't know what's going to happen. I think it's Marilainen playing. By the way, David Perron is returning to the lineup, which is the bigger news, I think, or Josh Norris being out is also big news. David Perron returns missing 2 months to the day.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's big.
Yeah, and
losing Norris for the weekend.
These were the lines at practice yesterday.
Yes. So, by the way, Nick Jensen, Sanderson didn't skate yesterday. That's. And then, of course, Norris didn't skate either.
Oh, I must have been watching the show yesterday when we said get Cousins up on one of the top lines.
I was just waiting for you to see that. Yeah.
So are these like, did they actually run 3-on-2s and run line rushes and do a little bit of work in the practice?
There's a small pet peeve I have. If I would like to, if I can financially make this happen, I would love to travel because there's just not enough information coming out from the team on the road of what's actually
interesting.
They just go, here's what happened, or there was no even confirmation really that David Perron was playing for like hours. Anyway, it was like, maybe should be, maybe. Anyway,
like I don't think Gaudette's played centers since October. Like he's been exclusively on the wing.
Yeah,
up and down on each and every line. This is wow. If this is going to be this is going to be fascinating to watch tonight. If you got Gaudette centering your fourth line, Stopchuk gets
look how much thinner they are through the middle of the ice now.
Yeah. Well, Pinto and Stützle are going to play a lot in this game, and I think Pinto's been their best player through this little stretch. Interesting. Pinto with Tkachuk and Giroux. Stützle, Batherson, Cousins. Well, Cousins has been playing well, so it won't surprise me if he's elevated in the lineup.
Like he goes and gets pucks out of corners.
But that's what I was talking about yesterday. If you really look what's been lacking in their game, everybody says offense. Yes, absolutely. They're not scoring, especially their top six. But to me, it's a little bit of a product of a lack of energy throughout the lineup. And if you want some, like, who's a guy that can be a little bit of a short-term lightning rod for you is Cousins. Like he skates really well. Remember we had him on the show too, eh? Well, that's how he got the nickname.
Well, he didn't get Wayne Chesky from us, but
he got it from Florida because Florida was going through something. Florida was all teams. This is the thing. All teams go through stuff like this where guys aren't scoring. There's a down spiral in your offense and coaches. It's up to your coach to try and figure out a way how to get a short-term fix, short-term solution. A lot of times, and that's what Florida did. You throw Cousins on the ice with a couple of your best players, because when a guy like that's on the ice, he's gonna get you involved in some things. He's gonna do some things on the forecheck. He's gonna piss guys off.
He's gonna bring you into that game whether you like it or not.
Yeah. That's why I'm a fan of putting two skilled guys with guys like that. And Cousins is skilled. Like he's got some parts to his game, but it's also very simple too. And I'll tell you right now, and I said this yesterday, I guarantee you Travis Green is pleading with these guys to shoot the puck. Pleading with them to just play simple north-south hockey, get pucks to the net, get bodies to the net, get traffic to the net, stop doing drop passes when you're in the slot, shoot the puck. Like, I'll guarantee you that was in their video session. Going over, guys, we're not scoring. How are we going to start scoring? Let's go back to just playing simple shooting, rebounds. Like, you love watching fancy plays. I love watching fancy plays. If you watch most goals on any given night in the NHL, it's screens, it's rebounds, it's tips, it's secondary opportunities. It's not all these beautiful goals that they're nice to watch, but the majority of goals in the NHL are scored from plays, broken plays where there's rebounds, shots, tips, and deflections.
I meant to get to this earlier about Shane Pinto. By the way, welcome a hockey dude who's watching from Mississippi today. I just think that's a cool place. We got a comment yesterday on our YouTube page, and I immediately thought of you. From Spanish Flea. Hearing Pinto is one of the best players is such a nonsensical take. Dude goes long streaks without a goal all the time. The literal definition of inconsistency, and he's demanding more money from this organization. And so I chuckled because everybody, for the most part, Shane Pinto hasn't scored, no question. He's struggling to put pucks in the net, but he's certainly been the most noticeable forward on that team. And if he could score, because he seems to have 4 shots a game, if he could put one of them in, we wouldn't be having the same discussion. I think he's been really good. I just thought you would find that entertaining.
Well, if you watch the games and you watch what players are doing what and which guys are having an impact on shifts and playing the right way, and I think it's no question he's been one of their better players. He's been really streaky though. You look at his start to the season, like he had he was generating looks, he was getting all kinds of chances. Finally, finally got a couple to go and then took off. But this is something it's not just Pinto. This is the whole team right now. The whole team is struggling to try.
So here they are. Brady career high 8-game pointless streak. He tied a career high. I apologize, from his rookie year. Batherson 1 goal in 16 games. Stützle 3 goals, 5 points in the last 12 games. Giroux 2 goals in the last 21 games. He does have 12 points. Josh Norris 3 goals in the last 11. Adam Gaudette 2 goals in the last 20 games, and Shane Pinto 2 goals in the last 14 games.
Wow, Batherson, you say 1 in 18?
1 in 16. 1 goal, 7 points in the last 16 games.
Yeah. So I do like how the team's playing defensively, but I'll throw Drake into this equation along with a lot of guys in this team. I think when you're struggling like this, I talk about shooting the puck, but I also think, especially a guy like Batherson, he plays better when he plays really physical. And if you want to sometimes get yourself out of these ruts, just go out and play with a little snarl in your game. Like, this is a great opportunity for Ottawa tonight. You're playing Boston. It's a massive game. They're right behind you. This is, like, you called it a must win. I don't think it's a must win yet. It's an important win, but I'd love to see Ottawa play mean tonight, where they don't let anybody off the hook on the forecheck. Like, you get in and you finish hits and you turn it into a grindy game and you play hard defensively. And then if you just kind of take that mindset, you're going to get an ugly goal. You're going to smack one in. But I find Batherson plays really well when he's physical. And, tonight's a great night for him to start.
I agree with you. And that Boston game was one of the arguably, like, harder fought games or most intense, right? Last weekend. So I suspect that they can bring that again, because Boston is just sandpaper itself. Although Mark Kastelic, I think, is out of the lineup. I think it'll be one of those fight for every square inch kind of games. So I'm hoping Ottawa will bring it.
It's going to be a playoff style game tonight. Like, it's both teams know what's at stake. Boston's struggling. Ottawa's trying to get some offense. Yeah, I think when you're not scoring, one thing you can do when you're not scoring is you can play physical. And there's a lot of guys on Ottawa that play better when they're really physical.
Well, it brings you into the game, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I don't mind elevate Cousins for a game like this. I'd love to see that. Like, he's just, like, right away, like, he's been coming to play. I think he's all, like I mentioned, Pinto. I think Cousins has been one of Ottawa's better players in this last little stretch as well.
By the way, Boston are they done for you? They're 3-5-2 in their last 10 games. Jeremy Swayman doesn't seem to be standing on his head, if you will. I'm just curious what we think of what Boston is. I don't know. Like, if you look at can we have the standings for a quick sec, Jake? Of the teams that are still fighting for a wild card spot, we'll just leave it for wild card. I know Tampa's 1 point up. Of the teams that are outside of the playoffs looking in, how many teams have you written off?
I don't see Detroit in the mix. I don't like the makeup of Pittsburgh's team. To me, they don't defend hard enough. I know they got Crosby and they got some great players. I don't see Pittsburgh. I think Philly's going to come up short. I look at the Rangers. I look at Boston. I look at Montreal. I look at Ottawa. I look at Columbus. To me, those are the teams. But this can change in a day. Like you're talking about, and people are Boston's done. Well, hey, if Boston wins this game tonight, bang, they're in a wild card spot. So this is going to be a standings watch right till the finish. But yeah, I don't see Detroit. I don't see Pittsburgh. I don't see Philadelphia. Philadelphia plays hard though, boy. Torts will have these guys ready to play each and every night. I look at the Rangers goaltending, and that's the same thing with Boston. You can't deny what Swayman has done in the past. He's an elite goaltender. He can figure it out in a hurry. So just hopefully it's not tonight against Ottawa. Hopefully he doesn't get the start and he turns into Swayman of old.
Well, okay, hang on. Let's continue the chat. Well, actually, before we get to the Bet365 and Charlie's choice, Linus Ullmark Ooh, someone's saying in the chat, Sportsnet's reporting that he's playing tonight. I'm not sure who from Sportsnet's reporting that. And I don't say no for sure he's not, but based on the way practice has gone of late, I'm not sure he is. Anyway, Jacob Markstrom is out for a while, according to Sheldon Keefe after last night's game when he was run into in the Boston game. So that Philip Gustafsson, Linus Ullmark, and Jacob Markstrom are the three goalies for the Four Nations. If Jacob Markstrom is out, you're almost begging Linus Ullmark at this point to be there, or the Sens to let him be there. That's a concern.
What's the date for this exhibition?
It starts on the 12th. So we are like 20 days, 21 days away.
Again, I go back to it. What are you playing for at the Four Nations? Like,
I know, but it's tough to tell. But listen, you are one of the guys that's selected by your country to represent your country with all the best other players in the National Hockey League.
Well,
you want to be there.
It's not the best players. There's no guys from
your country. I think we've made this very clear.
I just think the tournament's ridiculous.
Again, yes, I don't argue that. I'm just saying, if you are on, like, if you have a chance to play with Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby and all the best players from Canada, if you agree that they're the best players, you want to be on that team. You still want to be on the team.
I don't know. It depends where I'm at in my career. I probably want a break. I probably want to rest up for the rest of the season because I want to actually make the playoffs, because that's what's really important. And like, here's the other thing with players, Wally. Yeah, it's really nice to get invited to these things. It's an honor to play with the best of the best. But depending where you are, you get paid in your career based on what you do in the playoffs. So
I understand, but when you're 22, when you're 25, 22, whatever, you think you're indestructible in the world and you will be able to catch up on rest and do all that stuff. You don't think that this will have a negative impact on you. In fact, you're probably convinced, if I can play with all the best players, I will become better and I will be a better contributor to my team once I return.
How long has Ullmark been out for now? It's been
a month. Is it the 2nd? December 2nd? It was the Edmonton game. Anyway, 1 second. I'll tell you.
So if he gets healthy and starts playing again, because you could say, well, it'd be good for him to play in some games. Or would it be better for him just to have that time off and get really, really healthy for the
I understand. I don't argue that. December 22nd, by the way.
Yeah. To me, because of what's happened with his back, like if it was another injury, like you broke a bone, something like that, you broke your broke your wrist, your ankle, that heals up fine. Backs are just so friggin' tricky. And if you've hurt your back in the year, like once you hurt your back, you're always treating it all the time, Wally. You're in the trainer's room. You have to do a preparation before you get on the ice to get warmed up, to do everything to make sure it doesn't happen again. I just have a really hard time thinking that after you finally get healthy, the other thing you have to remember too, you're getting put into a foreign environment, right? New trainers, new setup. You're not doing your rehab. You're not doing your exercises in an environment where you're used to it. So it's all new. I'll be shocked if he goes. I really will. I'll be shocked.
I wouldn't be. We'll see.
I just so much on the line for the Senators this year. And then, like I said, you've been out for this long with a bad back, and then you finally get healthy and you go play in something like this that doesn't mean anything. I'll be shocked. And it's not like he's trying to fight to get a new contract. like there's a lot of times too, you'll play in these things too, best on best, depending where you're at in your career. They will, like I said, playoffs help you for sure. Playoffs are number one, but stuff like this too, you go there, you play well, it does get you exposure, but he's already got the contract. The number one priority is helping this team get into the playoffs. It's not this exhibition.
Listen, from the outside in,
I'll be shocked if he goes.
On the outside looking in, that all makes complete sense. But for type A hockey players who want to play with the best and be among the best, all that stuff.
If it was the Olympics, 100%, he's going. It's the Olympics. It's if it was some kind of series where it was like really, really important. But this is an exhibition where the games, like, people don't even care. Like, nobody's buying any tickets.
But I understand. But to the players, they want to play amongst the best.
It's not the best, though. The Russians, the guys aren't there. Okay. The second best player in the world, Leon Draisaitl, or whatever you want to call him.
I think he might be the best at the moment.
Sometimes in the playoffs, he's usually the best. He's the best. He's not going to be there.
I think we always did talk about Mikko Rantanen perhaps being underrated or not because he plays in
Colorado.
Yeah, I've been trying to think who's the Nate McKinnon plays under his shadow. Well, like, man, Leon Draisaitl might be one of the best players in the league and just gets overshadowed nightly because of Connor McDavid.
I think, like, when you get playoff Leon, when the playoffs start,
oh my God,
he's a beast. Good. Because the ice shrinks in the playoffs, and Leon's game is in tight. It's on the inside. The thing that's great about Leon, plays the game on the inside. Like, I know he gets those power play goals on those crazy angles on the one-timer, but he is a big, strong horse. That's the tighter the game, the tighter the check, and the better he plays. I love watching that guy play in the playoffs. But yeah, he's not going to be there. Stützle's not going to be there. Ovi's not going to. Ovi's going to be on a beach somewhere, saving his energy to try and break the record. He's going
to save his energy for win a cup. That team is on fire.
Yeah, they're playing some good hockey, boy. But yeah, like I said, I'll say it again. I'll be very surprised if Linus Ullmark goes. It's just wonky back. You got a wonky back. Why risk it? Why risk it?
I hope you're right. I'm trying to think. Players are wired completely different. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but players don't like being hurt either, Wally. Players don't like being hurt, and a lot of guys will when you've had a season like this, it's just, again, like I think it's the wise decision to do.
Okay, let's Jake, can you take care of Yorkie, please?
Is Jake doing the read? All of a sudden, Jake's voice comes on.
He has a great voice. We should get him to voice these things. Anyway,
it would be good. Okay, BEI. Use them for equipment rentals, aggregate, topsoil, custom crushing and screening, hot mix paving. They can do it all. So when you're planning your next project, please consider BEI for all your aggregate supply needs. On the web at bonisherexcavating.com, or give them a call at 613-432-1120. BEI is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley, and please remember to slow down in those construction zones.
And Free Hockey Friday tomorrow, by the way. Also, this show proudly presented by our presenting partner, Bet365. Open an account today with Bet365. Bet on a huge range of markets, including 4 nations. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code NATION, NATION, all in uppercase letters. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Download the app because it's much easier to use. And today, as we look at the odds, we'll see that it's very tight between Boston and the Ottawa Senators, where, by the way, odds are subject to change. Do we go to Charlie, or do we just let you pick first, Yorkie?
You know what? Charlie's been chomping at the bit here. She's been under the weather. She's back to 100%. I think we got to go right to Charlie.
Okay.
All right, Charlie. You're back to 100%. And Ottawa Senators fans are hoping that the Senators are feeling 100% as they head into Boston tonight to take on the Bruins. So, question of the day, Charlie. Who are you going with in tonight's game? Do you have the Ottawa Senators or the Boston Bruins? Last time these two teams met, Ottawa in a thrilling 6-5 victory won that game. And who are you going with tonight?
I thought
without hesitation, Charlie is going with the Ottawa Senators.
Just hanging out on the chair, looking out the window.
I like how she just pretended to ignore you. Oh, you see me here.
She's liking the Sens. Yeah, she's liking the Sens. She likes the matchup. Like, we chatted about this before she came on. She likes how Ottawa lines up against Boston. Just certain teams match up, and she feels Ottawa is going to win this matchup.
Well, I don't want to poo-poo on your parade exactly, but Josh Norris, who leads the Sens in goals against the Boston Bruins this year, is out of the lineup. He has 3 goals in 2 games. He's not in the lineup. That's a good one for me.
It's going to leave a mark.
That's a huge hole. Ottawa has won 3 straight against the Boston Bruins. Ottawa 3-3 in the last 6 against Boston. The Ullmark return game was the last time they were in Boston. Of course, they won that 3-2. Ottawa's last 10, they're 6-3-1 against Boston.
It's tough picking too when we don't know, because we sit here this morning at 9:45 a.m. We're not sure who the starters are for either team. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's this one's a pick 'em. I like the matchup. Charlie likes the matchup. But what does Wally like?
Okay, here's the question. Does it matter to you who's in goal for the Ottawa Senators tonight?
No.
Not really.
If Ullmark was in, but then again, he hasn't played in a while. But Boston's going through the same thing. They just pulled Swayman. They got Korpisalo. It's kind of a it's one of those things. Throw the goalies' names in the bingo basket and pick one, because I'm not certain who's going to play for either team.
I'm not certain either. I don't know if there's the shine has come off of Mara. Do you call it Mara Liven? I don't know if it's
Mara Liven. You got to slur it, Wally. Slur it.
I don't know if the shine has come off over the last couple of games here, going back to Boston, and then.
Well, he has let 9 goals in the last 2 games, Wally. He's let 9. 9 pucks have went by him.
Are you still counting the offside one?
With nine black discs across the goal line when he's in the net.
So
2 have been disallowed.
I think he's on a short leash. So I still think he starts. I'm going to go with, I think it's Korpisalo. I'll say Korpisalo gets the starting goal.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's what one would think, but we shall see. Who are you picking in the game?
But anyway, back to it. Doesn't matter who starts in goal for me, for the Ottawa Senators. Can we put up the Challenge Cup board? This not my favorite. I'm now back at 500. I was doing so well.
I was doing so well. What movie is that from, by the way? I was so well.
So I'm going to take, only because I can't keep picking the same as you. I'm going to take the Boston Bruins.
You're going to take the Bruins to try and get, you could go under 500 with his Sens win. Wally, first he's going with the Leafs and the Canadians. Now he's taking the Bruins. And a must-win game too. You imagine if Boston wins this game, Ottawa's out of a playoff spot for now. Bruins leapfrog. You're going to have that panic button out next week, for God's sake.
It's never far. It's never far from reach.
It's right there.
Why can't you ever take the all you do is just take the Sens to try and win over the fans?
I'm taking the Sens because they've matched up extremely well against Boston lately. I don't currently like how Boston's playing. I don't either. Well, take the Sens, you chicken.
But I'm not chicken. If I just take then we all just win and lose together. There's no kind of
whatever you're doing is not working because you're 16 and 60. Well, you stop letting me pick first. You could be the guy picking first.
Maybe that's what's going to happen next game. This is a Sens. This has to be a Sens win for me. But because you took the Sens, I'm taking the Bruins.
Yeah. It's not a confident pick with Ottawa because there's a lot of shit going on right now. You said it. No Norris. There's the goaltending thing. Who's going to start? Jensen got banged up last game. Shabbat's playing with a fishbowl on. Brady hasn't scored in a long time.
They're not scoring at all. The power play is not if you were to just go by the statistics of what's happened, you wouldn't think they're winning at all.
No,
and they are like I think 5-3-2 in the last 10 games. But man, it's clear that they're doing it with their defensive game. But at some point, they're going to have to score a goal. I have 19 goals in the last 10 games.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you put it that way. They're actually been winning at 5-3 there when the offense is completely dried up. Oh boy, yeah. So you're going with Boston, okay?
Well, then we just finish out the record with the same at the end of the year.
Well, it's lots of racetrack. Well, it was like 32 games.
Oh, no. There was lots of racetrack at 50 games. Now at 35. If you just keep picking the Sens, I don't know. So
it's not just me, it's Charlie.
Listen, you keep putting the Sens logo on the same side every time.
Listen, I've proven that fact incorrect. I did a redo last time somebody challenged me on that. She goes to what she feels is going to be a winner. And you can't argue with her record. Look at her, she's 11-4. Dog knows her hockey.
But she would have been picking the Sens against the Rangers, but she got out of it for being ill.
All right. So you're taking Boston?
I just need to see if I can gain some ground.
Okay. So if Boston does win, you can't take any credit for being right, because the only reason you're taking them is to try and get back in this race. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't have any faith in the Boston Bruins. I think they're right where they should be outside the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see by tonight.
Like both teams are saying they've got to have a response after the last game they each had, and I'm like, who's going to bring the response?
It's interesting in Boston because they've made the coaching change, and it hasn't really worked. So where do they go from here? As a player, when you're in a room like that, and you've made that, like the Sweeney's made that chess move. All right, boom, we're making the big move, and it doesn't work. Usually means as a player, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Who's getting traded? Who's moving? So when you look at two teams right now, mentally, they're both kind of struggling a little bit. Ottawa more offensively, but Ottawa's in a different mindset because they haven't done what Boston's done as far as the firing. So the dressing room in Boston is much more unsettled right now. Like guys are waiting for something else to happen there.
But they still find ways to hang around.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's been a lot of drama there too. Like there's been, I know there's been nothing to the stories. There was people trying to fabricate stuff with Pasternak and Marchand. I don't know if you saw it. This was a couple of weeks ago. Marchand was just bitter. Like he came on and addressed the whole rift and said there's nothing to it. And when you got to do stuff like that, it's like I said, it's two totally different rooms right now with what Boston's going through and what Ottawa's going through.
You never, and I don't want to say this is a leadership thing, but you never heard of this stuff with Patrice Bergeron, at least not that I can remember. You heard this stuff with Bergeron or Chara running the show, if you will, right? Like, of course, they were also winning. I just think people are now.
It's more to do with the winning, Wally. I played in Boston. And when you're not living up to expectations, it's not a happy sports town. Like people think it gets miserable here when the team's not doing well. Well, times that by 2. Like Boston sports radio, oh God, you can't listen to it if you're a player when things aren't going well. It gets nasty there. Like it's and you hear it at the home games too. Like it's not a fun place to play when you're not doing well.
And there's lots of it. Right? There's not just one or two outlets. There's lots. There's a poll up on our YouTube chat. From now on, would you like to have me make my own picks, or do I just get Gertie to do it from now on?
Gertie coming in from the bullpen. Gertie, get in here. Have the two dogs go at it,
eh? It might have to be Gertie because I'll. You know what? There's a big game tomorrow for the Leafs. So I will make.
Depending on what happens, Gertie, we could see Gertie sitting in that seat tomorrow. Hello, Gertie. Hello, Jason.
She'll never sit here, but I would love to do it. I might get her to pick for the Leaf game to see how this thing is starting. Aiden just says the quickest number 2 selection they've ever made. So a goldfish could make better picks than Wally. Okay. That might be fair. I'll keep it posted.
How's that chat of ours going there? There's people. I need a weather update for anybody in the Toronto area that could possibly, or the Western. I'm driving to London, Ontario today, Wally. I got to go see the Western Mustangs. play against the Windsor Lancers. Jack's got a game in London tonight, so I'm driving. Do I take Highway 7 or do I go 401?
I don't know why. Just go. For the 400 series is always going to be cleaner.
I love Highway 7 though. It's just such a.
I don't like
drive.
it.
It's such a pleasant drive. The 401, man. There's too many trucks on it now, Wally. It's so annoying.
Well, just go around them, no?
Well, winter driving.
What are you driving at 90?
Tell you, 407's wonderful. Or sorry, the 7. Then you don't even go on the 401 until you get on past Toronto. I won't go near it till
it's currently snowing.
Shit.
It's -5 with a snow shower, according to the Weather Network app. Okay. Everybody, let's see here. I'm going to quickly make this 401, 400, Highway 7 sketchy, Highway 7 in the summer, 401 because of the snow. Pay up, use the 407. So Maddie's loaded. I live along the 7. It's bad today. Go 7, Yorkie.
The 7's bad. Shit, I love 7.
So snow is light and blowing on back roads. 407 all day. 7 more risky, but more pleasant. So
very pleasant. You know why? Because you leaving from Ottawa, I'll make the first stop for a coffee in the nice town of Perth. Get my first coffee there. Then I'll drive, and before you get to Peterborough, there's another Timmy's right before you get to Peterborough. Hit that one, and then it's 407 time, Wally. And as soon as you get to the 407, it's smooth sailing. I always pay up for it.
So what would that cost you to go from the 7 to the London on the 407?
It's not
30.
It's not. No, wait. If you get on before Oshawa, you're talking like probably $70.
Yeah, that's not worth it to me.
Yeah, it's worth it to me to avoid Toronto.
Eric says take the megabus. That's probably your best bet.
With the big bus driver's massive head on the back of it. The megabus, okay.
Yeah. Are you a Timmy? What do you take in your coffee, by the way?
I go medium coffee, 1 cream, 1 sugar, maybe a Splenda.
No sugar in mine. Take the sugar right out of your coffee. It'll make you feel better.
You're like black, extra salt.
Extra black. With a little misery mixed in. Before we go, does Brady Tkachuk score tonight?
Oh,
by the way, can you put up the Bet365 board? I think in the parlay, Brady has a goal. Brady to score a goal, Drake to get a point, and Stützle to get an assist plus 550. Do you think Brady Tkachuk will score a goal this evening?
I thought he was going to score against New York, of all places, tonight.
By the way, Brady Tkachuk made his NHL debut at Boston, just as a reminder.
Yeah. I'm going to say no. He's not going to score tonight. And Nick Cousins might sneak in for one there with his elevated role. But Brady's going to do some. I think he's going to get an assist, but I don't think he's going to score tonight.
Really? Okay. By the way, the poll, I believe, is now completed. 70% believe that Gertie should pick the remainder of the season. I'm shocked it's that low.
If you lose again tonight and Ottawa wins, Gertie's coming in Monday.
Well, I'm going to get Gertie to pick the Leaf game. It's a huge weekend, Yorkie. The Battle of Ontario, and then you got Utah in town.
Let's do the battle.
By the way, another 22. I think it's another 22-hour turnaround, if I'm not mistaken. 7 p.m. Yeah, these 22-hour back-to-backs. I always thought they were 24. I'm shocked that this was approved by the PA. Shocked.
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's a tough month for Ottawa. Well, when you shut the league down for that long, you
just jam them in
for the ever important Four Nations Cup. This is what you're left with. Oh my God.
Do we have? I think we now have more people. Like there was someone from Singapore. I know this is way off topic. I'm in the chat here.
I might jump in there. I'm gonna jump in.
someone from Singapore reached out to me earlier because I was asking some questions, and they play hockey there. I think he plays on the. I'll get to him. I think on the Rusty. I think their team's called the Rusty Blades.
Yeah.
They have a league in Singapore, and he's like, we actually play tournaments like in Bangkok and Hong Kong and all this stuff. They did ask if you would be interested in perhaps playing in some of these tournaments. I don't believe they're going to fly you over, but you do have to go.
pay my own freight. I'm not going with you in the back of the plane. At least give me what's it called there? The upgrade. I don't need first class, but I need the leg room.
Just business economy or whatever it's called. Okay.
The preferred seat. I need a preferred seat because I got stuffed. I didn't know this about WestJet flights coming back from Florida. Oh my God, it's like a sardine can. You are hammered in those little seats in the WestJet.
Wow. You know what WestJet is? They have the shorter armrests. I don't know if anybody actually notices this, but the armrests are like 3 inches too short where it's an awkward feeling.
Yes.
If you're on their older planes, if you notice. Anyway, I didn't like WestJet. I don't want to say anything in case someday they may sponsor the show. Anyway, we'll see if Brady scores tonight, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. Go Sens to beat everybody, and we will be comfortably in a playoff spot. Yorkie, be safe on the roads.
Highway 7, I'm going to take it.
See you, everybody. See you Monday.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.